Hey, 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 Cindy Gould here from Create Your Victorious Life. And I want to welcome you to the Spanglish World Networks on Zingo TV, channels 250 and 251. Please remember to download both the Zingo TV app on your respective app stores on iOS or Android devices. While you download, make sure to rate and leave a stellar comment, please. The app is totally free. Zingo TV is also available on Cast, Amazon Fire and Fire TV sticks, Roku and Roku sticks, also on all smart TVs 2016 going forward, not dumb TVs. And it looks like my guest, my OG coach, Andrew Houghton, is, I know he was having a little bit of technical difficulties. And let me see where he went. I'm so excited for him to be here today. So what's really cool about my guest today is he's a really good friend of mine. I know him from the Neuroencoding Institute. Andrew Houghton is the OG coach, which stands for Ordinary Guy Coach. And he is amazing. He's British, living a little over 20 years, I think, in Korea. And it's pretty awesome that he's over there. He is a professor at the university. He teaches English communication. He met and married his beautiful, beautiful wife, who I just got to meet in November over there. And he is a dual elite neuroencoding specialist. And he is amazing. His goal and his mission is to help ordinary guys, perfect timing, Andrew, to help ordinary guys to live extraordinary lives. And he loves the dramatic. And let me hear the roar of the crowd. My good friend, yes, who is also, I did not mention, father to two wonderful children. His daughter is so adorable, and they're expecting another. Andrew Houghton, yay, is in the house.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. It's a real honor, and I'm so excited to be here. Thank you, Cindy.
Yes, yes, yes. Now, I've known you for a while now, and you know that you're like family to me. You and your family, and so I'm just going to shoot off some really fun questions that you and I, be aware. You already know. And Shar is on today too. So
hey, Shar.
Hey, Shar. So I just want to ask you, on my show, I always ask people, what would you or how would you define a victorious life? And so I do want to ask you that. Only, I know that you guide men to have an extraordinary life. What does that look like? Meaning, not how you guide them. We'll get to that in a minute, but actually define for me a victorious or an extraordinary life.
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's changed a lot over the last 12 months, to be honest. Where I thought I was heading towards the end of last year and where I am right now, it is completely different. And the extraordinary life, I don't want to. I feel like I almost should ask you to tell me, because I've had people open my eyes to things that I assumed were ordinary. I get to take 4 months off vacation a year, and I get to see my family in the UK every summer for 6 weeks. And I'm just like, doesn't everybody do that? Like, isn't that normal that we, get to travel around the world with our family and, take 6 weeks off from work, whatever? Like, I was like, no, it's not. Okay. I guess, wow, my life's quite awesome. And I get to live in the capital city of South Korea, Seoul, which is, booming at the moment. It hasn't always been that way, but now whenever I mention where I live, people are like, oh, do you know BTS? Do you know Jimin? I'm like, nah, maybe I do. Maybe I should say maybe I do, but it's wonderful. Like, the job I have has been so rewarding I've been over here for 20 years, and it's just got better and better every year, all the time I've been here. That's why I haven't left. Like, people always ask, why are you still over there? And it's because I haven't had a reason to leave. It's got better. My life's got better. Meeting my wife was just the best thing that ever happened to me. But, my job 13 years ago, I got a job in a university in Seoul, and yeah, I wouldn't give that up for anything at the moment. It's a fantastic job. I get to teach university students, and I get to have a great vacation, and I get to run my coaching business too. So I get to help people educationally and mentally, I guess you could say.
Yeah. That to me is like definitely an extraordinary life. I remember when you and I had a conversation, you said, well, doesn't everybody get to take that kind of time off? I'm like, are you kidding me? 4 months out of 12, you have vacation. That's
Yeah,
beautiful. To be home with
yeah.
with Serene, with your little girl and with your son. You get to be home with your wife. You get to do, I know you guys travel to the UK every summer, and that's just beautiful, right?
It is a real blessing. I'm not as young as I was, but my
Oh,
parents are getting older, and I've got nieces and nephews who are growing up, and it is a real. I appreciate it so much more than I used to. That I can just jump on an airplane and yeah, sure, it's 13 hours of flying, but I can be with them, every year, and I get to celebrate birthdays. And my university, my job is structured in such a way that I've been there for 70th birthdays, I've been there for 60th birthdays, I've been there for
wow.
weddings, and that is a real it's a real blessing that I realize a lot of people don't get to do that, and I'm very grateful for
Wow.
this life I've carved out for myself.
Yes, that's fantastic. And one of the things that I know when I've talked with so many people, and one of the things that they really crave and what would be crafted in their victorious life and their extraordinary life would be freedom, time freedom to be
Yes,
able to
indeed.
do,
Yeah.
and that's I think what's so beautiful that you get to do all those things. So talk to me about like going from coaching. First of all, any of you that are in our listening audience now or in the future, who wouldn't want to take English from Andrew with that accent, right? Like, hello. I'm thinking
I don't have an accent. What do you mean?
I'm thinking of all your Korean students, like, how do I talk like that?
Oh, splendid.
Yes,
Yes. A cup of
splendid.
tea, darling.
So fabulous and so fun. And, but talk to me a little about how, so you're over there, you're coaching, and then you have like this, what, a light bulb goes off. I'm sorry, you're teaching, and then you have this like, I think I'll be a coach. Like, how did you get from there to there?
Yeah. That's something I've been thinking a lot about recently. It seemed kind of seamless in a sense, but this started with my own journey, with counseling, some therapy, some coaching, and something connected when I was talking with my coach about what I do as an English teacher and what I was experiencing with this person. The way I teach English over here is not like everybody else. I think it's very communicative, it's very personal. It's about I'm really about getting them to tell me about their experiences and use the language
Mm.
as the medium to tell me what they think and what they feel and what they're going through. And usually it's their problems and it's their family life, and their celebrations. Hopefully sometimes sometimes it's hard to get people to talk about the good things sometimes, but I realize that what I'm really doing is, in a sense, counseling them or coaching them. I didn't see that much of a difference. I needed to brush up on some skills and learn some methodologies. I could do it better. I just felt like the relationships I was building, the rapport I had with my students, it wouldn't be a huge leap to be able to have a bigger impact on their lives, not just to correct their grammar, not just to give them some extra vocabulary, but to also make just a difference in their quality of living, really. They ask me things, very personal things about issues with their son or daughter or husband or parents-in-law. And I thought, well, if I had the skills to be able to give them better advice, then it would be a win-win for all of us.
100%. That's fabulous. So do you speak Korean?
아니요. 한국말 못해요. 조금 공부했어요. 그럼 더 공부 필요해요. 네.
Ooh,
Okay.
very nice. Very good.
I studied a little bit. I mean, I have been here 20 years. I have friends who've been here a couple of years and they're fluent. So by
Wow.
no by no means am I fluent, but I get by. You know, I can order food. Like a big step for me was being able to order food on the phone myself. You know,
Yay!
instead of calling
I
my
can
wife, my then girlfriend at midnight, like, can you order me a pizza? It's like, no, I can do it myself. I can do it myself.
Good for
Yeah.
you.
So
Hey, Yayoi joined us too, our beautiful Yayoi, and she said
hey,
heartfelt English classes. I love that. That is
I hope so.
exactly what it is. And I know Yayoi, we love Yayoi, and she loves us both as well. So it's just, we got some great people on here. You know what? It's cool because you know that I'm Hawaiian and lived there for a long time, my family, I've got a lot of family, etc. And I can order Korean food. I know all the best Korean restaurants over there. But I would
Well,
not be
yeah,
able to order a pizza in Korea. That's for sure. I'd be dialing you up. Andrew, could you?
I will deliver it. If you come to Korea, I will deliver it for you. Don't worry.
Thank you. I can't wait. You already know. You said the three magic letters, BTS. My granddaughter, she's like already got the whole trip mapped and planned and the whole thing to go hang out with Andrew and his family. So,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
they'll be with me on the stage,
yes, they
hopefully.
will. You and your entourage.
That's right. They'll be asking me for VIP passes. So yeah.
There you go. That's right. So you said a couple of things that I thought were really valuable. Every time I get to interview somebody once a week, I feel like I get to have a master class. And so you said some things. You said when I was talking with my coach. So you and I are both coaches, and you and I both have coaches.
Yep.
How valuable is that and why?
It's yeah, it's invaluable because I I'm a work in progress. I have struggles. Like I'm so glad that started when I started in terms of learning coaching, and I've been able to mitigate so many fears and just little things that used to trip me up. Imposter syndrome, fear of rejection, even even my shyness. Like I tell people I'm shy, I'm an introvert, and nobody believes me because I stand in front of 60 to 100 university girls every day pretty much teaching, and I'm very active with my gestures and vocal range and stuff, and they're like, no, you're not shy. I'm like, no, you don't see me out in the real world, but I have my moments, and these are things that I get to work with with my coach. I get to work on myself, and I don't teach theory. That's something that my mentor Joseph McClendon III says. We don't teach theory. So it's important for me that I have gone through the work that I'm going to go through with. Sorry, there's comments coming up, and I'm like I want to have tunnel vision on you, but things keep popping up. It's like, oh, you're watching on YouTube. That's great. Okay, sorry. Um, but yeah, I want to work through and go through the processes and the tools that I'm going to be passing on to my clients. Not teaching theory. What I pass on to my clients is what I've gone through. It's what I know works and gets results. So
Right.
it's pivotal that I have a coach. Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
first of all, let me shout out to the many people that are watching that we do know. Shout out to Shar and all of and as well as Yayoi, who's also a prover, to all of our great, beautiful and wonderful friends and our teammates and our families that are all provers that are watching, which are medical grade or therapeutic grade ketones, which, hello, reach out to one of us and we will share with you. They've actually changed my life. Cindy Carl's on, Francesca. Pretty awesome. We're so excited to see each of you, and thank you for joining us. So let me tell you how I feel about a coach as well. So Michael Jordan, Kobe, Steph, LeBron, no matter what game they're playing, they still have coaches.
Absolutely.
Tiger Woods, like, hello, these people all have coaches. The people that we know, Tony, our mentor, Joseph McClendon III, Tony Robbins, you know, they all have coaches because you always want to have that end of it, right? You want to make sure that you have an objective person that's in your corner that's going to help you sharpen the saw, that's going to help you be your very best all the time, and so that you can default to your very best choices. You also said something that I loved earlier when you were talking about being a professor and your transition coach, which is so cool, is you said you wanted to make more of an impact and to help them with the quality of their lives. So I'd like to kind of circle over to your niche of working with men and how you chose that. And talk to me about, you know, I have 5 brothers. I've been married. I'm not now. And I love men. I mean, I had a spectacular father, all things men, love it. And, you know, there's a lot of things that happen in men's lives that a lot of wives don't even get, you know, that a lot of people don't really know. And I'd love for you to share some of the reasons why you chose to walk into that arena.
Well, I love men too. I mean,
you better if you're coaching them.
Yes, absolutely. So the question is, why did I choose men as my niche?
And what are some of the things that you've seen? I'm going to add to that because I might as well just say, hey, take it and run with it. So what are some of the things that you've seen that are you're like, huh, I think I could help that ordinary guy, guy that's suffering in maybe these areas to have an extraordinary life?
I mean, I think I'll go back in reverse order because that's what I remember. You just said, you know, a lot of us live extraordinary lives and don't even realize it. We like when you fall in love. If you've fallen in love, you know, you do anything for your partner. You're crazy about them. Everything's a blessing. Taking out the rubbish is a blessing. Cleaning the dishes for them. You'll clean their bathroom for them. Like, you do anything. And as time goes by, you know, things change and priorities change possibly. And, you know, and that extraordinary life is still there for you. It's just you've maybe started to take it for granted, or other things have come along. Kids have come along, work pressure has come along, the economy has changed, and, you know, family, lots of things come up. And sometimes it's just a case of giving the guys the tools to get back to what they once, you know, what's still there, get back what's still there, get back to that position they were in when they fell in love, you know, when everything was, nothing seemed like a problem, no hurdle you couldn't jump over. So that's part of it. And I've gone through that. So what drew me to coaching men was that I am a man and I needed a coach and I needed help several times during my life. And many times I didn't get the help. You know, I only realize now, looking back, predominantly I'll say my adulthood, but even in my teenage years, I could have done with a coach. But in my adulthood, you know, I had problems with drinking. You know, alcohol was a huge part of my life for 20 years. And that's something that needed to change. And it wouldn't have changed, I don't think, until my coach said something to me. He's like, you know, I was having issues with anger. I was having issues with depression. And he said, you know, you're never really going to figure that out if you keep drinking, because when you're in that mindset of, you know, it creates a headspace where you can't really think clearly. As much as it was fun and the parties were great, wild times, if I want to get over this anger issue, if I want to get over this depression, I need to stop drinking. And, you know, it was having other impacts on my life too, my family life, my personal relationships, friends and stuff. And yeah, so I made that choice and I stopped drinking 2.5 years ago. And I'm not saying that's what everybody should do. You know, it's not for you know, I forget what it means I met a woman at the gathering we were at for Joseph's birthday,
Mm.
and I said I made a mistake that I've made many times, where I said, like, oh, it's only been 2 years, and she's like, whoa, you never say that, right?
That's
Like that could be a year and 364 days that
right.
somebody's never had, right? Like,
Right.
you don't know what other people are going through until
Right.
and I don't want to mitigate that. I don't want to lessen the value of that.
It's huge.
But the point was that I too have been divorced, and that was not fun. I've I was lucky enough to meet my now wife, and have a chance at having a family. Um, and that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't got help, if I hadn't talked to somebody about what I was feeling, what I was going through. So I want to be able to, I don't know, pay that forward, pay it back. I want to, I want to offer to people what I was very grateful to have, basically.
That's Yeah, that's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, not only with me, even though it's just you and me having a chat, hanging out now,
I don't see
right?
anybody else here.
Thank you though, and for entrusting that with us and being that transparent. A couple of things that you said that really got kind of kicked some things in my mind is that you were going along and you're drinking and doing all these things. You and I know it was to distract you from whatever was really going on inside, right?
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
and you don't know how bad you feel till you feel good. Like, you don't really, right? You don't really
Yeah.
know how bad you feel till you're on the other side of that and you feel amazing. And the other thing too is it really boils down.
Yeah.
And when you talk about marriage and relationships and the guys and the things that you and I've talked a lot about, where guys, it might not be alcohol, it might be they're hitting the green. I mean, smoking weed. It might be that they're that porn, and we're not just talking men exclusively. I mean, women obviously have these issues. It could be, that they're choosing, video games and tuning it
Yeah.
out, or scrolling, like you and I have a
Shopping,
good
spending money,
shopping, spending
education,
money,
coffee
business.
shops. I mean, anything can be a
Yes,
distraction. Anything.
all of it.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, just to distract you. And at the end of the day, it really boils down to focus. And when you talked about, in the beginning, when, oh my gosh, I'll carry the bags. Holy cow, I'll clean your bathroom. Yep. Let me do your laundry. Or, oh, I'll do that for you, babe. I got you. Right. And then later on, it's like you're tuning them out as they've asked you 5 times.
Yeah.
Could you
What am I,
please
your
take
maid?
Right. and it really boiled down to focus, but not focus here, but focus with your heart and
Yeah.
anticipating from your heart how you can actually be a blessing to them, like you were in the beginning. How can I bless her socks off? What can I do that's going to bring her joy? How can I keep
Yeah.
connecting with her, right?
And not
Instead of,
and not just that, family too. Like, my yeah, my daughter Serene, she was due about 6 weeks after I took my last drink, and
wow,
people kept saying, like, "Wow, it's so amazing! You stopped drinking before you became a father." And I was like, "Yeah, I guess so." And it's only not like it's only recently, like, looking back, thinking, like, "Man, how would I have coped?" The headspace I was in, 3 years ago, that guy would not be able to cope with the things that I've gone through in the last 2 years,
right,
with having a child, with having a stepson, and just being a good parent is one thing, being a good spouse is another. And I wanted those things. Don't we all want those things? I think when we're in those relationships, like, we want to be the ideal husband, we want to be the ideal parent, we want to also maintain our friends and social life. But we're not in alignment with our assignment, right? This is what we want, but we're doing these other things that are counter to being that good person. If I'm
right.
too busy working, I can't be a good parent. I can't be at home all the time. If I'm too busy socializing with friends, I can't be playing with my kids. I have to make choices, and even being aware of those choices
Yeah.
is a great start.
Well, and when you make those decisions to have a family, like, Serene's never had to experience her dad in that other situation, which is huge. It's
Yeah.
it's a frequency issue, and it's like what you said. You joke around because I say that a lot. Being in alignment with your assignment
Oh,
and doing what
is that
God's
your thing?
Oh, is that my thing? But it is a thing, and because it all boils down to what channel you're going to watch, meaning what frequency are you going to tune into? Are you going to tune into how to be the best mate, how to be the
Hmm.
best father, how to be the best Andrew, how to be,
Yep.
and to do those things. And I think even the health stuff that goes along with drinking. So like for me, I'm at my age, and I'm a mother, and I have 10 grandbabies. That some of them aren't babies, and I think with the exception of 3 of them, four of them, they're all taller than I am, which isn't hard. You've met me, not hard. However, I've never been drunk, I've never been high. I made a decision when I was 12 to never do any of that. And I, am very grateful because and a lot of that was I had a grandfather whom I never met, but because of alcohol consumption, he died bleeding from every opening of his body. And that stuck with me. Now I heard about it, I didn't physically see it. And so I thought, well, I'm not seeing a benefit to that. I mean,
Mm.
I joke around sometimes, like when you're at a social event or whatever, and people offer you things, and I'm always, well, I'm happy already, and I, and we can all make dumb decisions without having to have anything impair us, right? So,
Absolutely. I
but
definitely
one of
have
the
done.
things, yeah, and judgments and things. But one of the things that I do know just from doing this studying with Dr. Daniel Amen and doing the brain health studying is just what it does actually to your brain. And most people
Mm.
don't think that, and
Yep.
realize that. And you and I both know, because we've talked a bunch about it, the neurons that fire together wire together, and then you
Hmm.
behave in a certain way. Now,
Yep.
how have you seen a difference since when you stopped and then adding, because you're a dual elite neuroencoding specialist? Yay, yay,
Correct.
yay. One of the reasons why you came to California, yes, of course, was to celebrate our yay. To celebrate our hey Corey, another one of our good friends up in Alaska, and also neuroencoding specialist. But one of the things that you did come for was for your graduation because of that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And here's what's beautiful is that you made these decisions prior and then you jumped into neuroencoding. So talk to me a little bit and share with our audience, please, what changes you have seen because you have these tools to use.
Well, I'm much less annoying to my wife. I think that's a big one. Uh, we have less disagreements. That's lovely. Uh, I have more patience. It's a
Ooh.
you said like wiring and firing together. It's as
Mhm.
much as it's been an unwiring and unfiring together process too. It I've unlearned a lot of negative patterns and
Mm.
judgments and presumptions about things that were not serving me. When I'm in a conversation with my wife, there was a time where everything felt like it was a personal attack. Everything felt like a judgment. Like I wasn't. This is all in my head, right? I'm not saying like sometimes
Right.
I'm sure I do let her down. Like I am not yet the perfect husband, and I'm sure I make
Oh, come
mistakes.
on.
Well,
I see that water you're walking
but
on.
you um, but yeah, being able to be present, like you said, being heartfelt, like just
Mhm.
listening and waiting. Like a huge thing I've been able to do is listen without trying to fix what she's saying.
Ooh.
That's made a huge difference because there was a time where she would start talking. I'd be like, I know what to do. I got it. You need to do this. And I'm sure people have experienced this. It doesn't work. That's not what you're there for. Be an ear, be a shoulder to cry on. And then if they ask for a solution, maybe, that was a huge lesson.
That's
and
awesome.
and just yeah, knowing, like you said, frequency. Walking into my house after work, like I'm tired, it's been a long day, I'm mentally, fatigued. I've done lessons, I've done coaching, I've been
Mhm.
riding rush hour subway traffic, and it's, having a moment to get on the right frequency that,
Yeah.
I'm excited. I know I'm excited to see Serene again. I'm excited to talk to my stepson about high school. I'm
Yes.
excited to have my, delicious food that my wife could have prepared, or we might order and watch a movie. And it's getting on that frequency of what
Yes.
I want to experience. What do I want? Like, that's a key question we ask we're a client, right? Like, what do I want? And am I taking the actions to get what I want?
Yeah.
I could, I would never have asked those questions just, a year or so ago.
Right. Well, and a lot of times we don't even know that we can ask ourselves what we want. We get on this, just automated life of functioning.
Mm.
And, one of the things that I share, because I work a lot, I have worked with men, as you know, personally,
Mhm.
but I work a lot with women. And one of the things that I share is that out of 8 billion people on the planet, that person that's coming home to you, that person you're going home, they chose you. They chose you to be their person. They
Yeah.
chose you to spend their life with. What a freaking privilege that is. Like, what an
Right.
honor. There's 8 billion people on the planet, and you were the lucky one that Unji chose, who, by the
Yeah.
way, I adore your wife. She's stunning, by the way, but,
She,
but
she is
she's just
spectacular.
adorable. She is. Yeah, she's pretty stinking
And
spectacular.
that
And
goes both ways too, though. Like,
yeah,
it's easy to forget that
you
they
chose.
they put up with us. That I don't know, like, obligation, or it's not like we choose to be together, and there's so much that I forget that she puts up with and loves about me that other nobody else would. You know, there's secrets she knows about me. There's little
Right.
ticks that I have that she knows, and there's nobody else I want to share that with. And I'm so grateful that she wants me to share them with her. And it's easy to forget that.
Yeah. Well, you're her kind of weird, right? I mean, I
I'm
just tell
her
everybody,
kind of
I
weird.
say everybody's weird, and the person and your mate, the person you landed with, you're their kind of weird, and it's pretty cool. And remember too, and I share this too, is remember that you chose them.
Hmm.
And everybody gets caught up in the everyday life stuff and the things that happen. And so, so talk to me then when you're, because I know, and I'm speaking this to, there's a lot of women watching tonight. And if you Andrew's got this really cool event coming up, and he does coach men, and he's a great guy to coach your guy, which is super fun, and I love that, and I'm pretty excited about it. So talk to me a little bit about that. What do you have coming up?
Coming up, I am co-hosting a webinar. I think we're calling it. Anyway, it's an online event, and I'm working with Coach D, your brain coach D, Dominica. I think people might be familiar. It was only a few weeks ago that she was on your show. It feels like a few weeks ago. It could have been a couple of months, but
Yeah, it was in
I
October.
remember watching it. It was great.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, she's a spectacular coach. She's in different areas from me. Her knowledge on the brain and the neurochemistry and stuff is amazing. So we're teaming up. She's the girl next door. I'm the ordinary guy, and we're here to help people finish the year strong. Like, what didn't you knock off the list this year? How can we help you finish this year better than you started it? Like, a lot of us, we had goals at the beginning of the year, and a few months in or weeks in, we gave up, and we look back and we're like, wow, I'm in the same position where I started. And you don't have to be. It's amazing what you can accomplish in days and weeks. So
Right.
it's dealing with your beliefs, like where you are, where you want to be. And then a big part of it is going to be setting really achievable goals for next year, setting up 2024 to be, the best year of your life. And it's absolutely attainable. I said before that I couldn't imagine. You said before I was in California. I was there for less than 2 days, And if you told
Right.
me that at the beginning of the year when I first met you, that you're going to be at your graduation with Joseph McClendon III and all these amazing coaches, and crew and the whole family that's there, I'd be like, nah, no. Well, like I'm gonna go from Seoul to California for a day, just like no, that's not gonna happen. And it did
Right.
happen, and it's mind blowing what is achievable, and it takes structure, it takes systems and processes and patterns to get you there, and that's what we're going to teach. We're gonna offer what we know as the best way to achieve what you want to achieve as fast as possible.
That's so awesome. And yeah, we have a phrase that we do talk a lot about is going further faster, right? And what you're saying again goes right back to the beginning. What do you want? Like what do you really, really want? And not what are you gonna settle for? What are you going to give yourself permission to want? Not something that society, your family, YouTube, or Instagram is telling you that you should want. What do you really, 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 really want? Like like the Spice Girls, right?
Yeah.
Tell me
I
what
really,
you want.
really, really want a zigga zigga. Yeah.
Right.
And why do you want it is
And
a
why?
big part too.
Yes.
I was just thinking recently, I was having a conversation with a friend about, next year, what do we want next year?
Mhm.
And then I was like, oh, like a nice car next year. And then immediately I was like, well, hold on. Why do I want the nice car? Oh, because it'll make me feel good. It's like, well, how about I set my ambitions for next year to feel good? And maybe it's not the car that brings it. Maybe it's March, my new daughter coming into the world. Maybe it's going to be that, right? Like, I don't know what it's going to be, but I can set my ambitions. I heard it from another great person. I won't drop names, but your ambitions should be feelings, not things, right? Ambitions should be feelings, not things, and that really resonated with me, because what I want the nice car for is to feel good, to feel happy, to feel excited, to feel comfortable, to feel safe, and those things are achievable through various methods. So,
Right.
yeah.
And not that there's anything wrong with having the nice car
Oh
either,
no,
right?
no, we all deserve
Absolutely.
what we want. I guess my point was just to be that there's an underlying reason to especially when
Yes.
you talk about things, right? When you want things, like
Yes.
there's underlying motivation
Yes.
for that.
And what you're saying to me causes me to think of, well, what's the why behind the why?
Yep.
Like when, I know for you, and you and I have both, I think we were both on the same Zoom when Vinu walked us through that. And who's another mentor and coach, and is extraordinary. And it is really, what is your why behind your why? Why do you really, really want that? And what is it going to do for you? And what is it going to do? Like for me, one of the things that when I put things through do I really want that? Etc. One of the things that I put through is how am I going to serve with that? What will that, and how will that serve me? And is that something I really, really want?
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool when you do it exactly. Shar saying brilliant, ambition setting, feel good, to just feel good instead of things. What's the why behind the why? And absolutely, and to really search your heart, because sometimes you grow up thinking, because I come from that background where you work the 40 years, you get the
Yeah.
watch, you get the thing, you've got the Social Security, you got all those things, and you want that because that's what we were told is the way to be successful in the world. And now we have these other businesses that we have, and where we are really wanting to serve people on a massive level. And I know you have some really special big that I always, and so we talk about, you and I, and I've mentioned this in some of the groups we've been in, so if you will indulge me, about
Okay.
Andrew being the Tony Robbins of South Korea. Ow! And
Make your move. Make your
yeah,
move.
make that move, boy. And I always say, hey, we are going to be sitting on that. Shar will be there with us. And I'm sure that those things will be happening, which will be super cool. I'm pretty
Yep.
excited about that.
I see all of the neuroencoding family on the front line.
Yes.
The
Dear
BTS will be
Corey,
sitting behind you. Don't worry.
BTS will be sitting behind me and my granddaughter will be sitting right next to them. She
That's
said she
right.
can even open and sing at your event with them. That'll be super fun.
Wonderful.
Cindy Carl says, I worked in corporate America and got a suitcase after 20 years. Holy smack.
Wow.
Like, I know. And then Eric Stein, like, Andrew is the man, which he is. And we love Eric from Energetic Life Now.
Thank you, Eric.
One of our good friends and amazing coaches as well. You know, here's the cool thing that I really see with a lot of what you're doing. And I'm like you, I also had to put together an event, you know, to go into this next year. And I sat and I thought about it, like, what do I really want to do? And I work with women and I'm put together an event for women only. And I'm really excited. And it's really about smacking, basically hear us roar and watch us soar in 2024. And, everybody, thank you. Everybody who's, in our audience right now, just grab a piece of paper and jot down, what did you say you were going to do in January last year or even December 31st? And what did you really do? And some of you, like even Shar, I know for a fact, exceeded some of her expectations. I know you have totally on some levels. And because I know, you and I have been working together that long and I've known you, practically, about that long. Yeah. And, I know Yoyo's done that as well. And Cindy Carl is like in the bomb house, same with Corey and Eric. I mean, I'm looking at our list of the loved ones that we have on here that are here supporting you being on the show today and me being here as well. And thank you again. But jot down you didn't slay and why.
I was blown away by just the achievements that all the people I've met through over the last year. It opened my eyes to just how many people out there are making goals and achieving goals. There was almost a part of me that was like, oh yeah, I'll make resolutions again this year, and almost knowing, like almost in the back of my mind thinking, I'm just going through the motions again. Like, I don't expect to have these goals done by the end of the year. And then now I'm in a completely different mindset, right? I'm setting these goals for next year. I'm going to achieve them by April. And there's other goals I have done by June. Like, it's no longer, I'm not going to be waiting until December next year to be going to the States. I'll be there in April. I'll be there with Les Brown and Joseph and you and all of the crew. Why not? I'm going to be there, make it happen.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and we've talked about it. This isn't a dress rehearsal. This is it. This is your life.
This is it.
And this is your life. And what are you going to do with it? Will you stay in alignment with your assignment and do what God's purposed you to do? We're not here by accident. Those of you who have heard me speak or that have been on the show before or watched the show know that and I get emotional about it. You know that. I believe that we are God's strategy to end suffering and the painful things that happen in this world. We are his boots on the ground, and so what are you going to do about that? Like what, and you don't need to look back and beat yourself up. The beauty that I love about neuroencoding is that we don't take you back and dig all the stuff up. We take you from where you're at, ask you, okay, here's where you're at, Andrew. What do you want? How do we close that gap? How are we going to mitigate it? Right? Yeah. We look at the things that prevent you from getting that in your life, which are going to be fears, right?
Yep.
Hesitation, procrastination, fear of success, failure, imposter syndrome, self-doubt, self-loathing, fear of rejection, stress, and overwhelm. Those are the bad boys,
Yep.
And all you do is, yes, the thieves of our dreams. And then we will guide you. I mean, I would invite you to look up Andrew on all your social medias, follow him, sign up for his goal setting webinar with Dominica, sign up for that, see where he's going to be able to serve you best, because I guarantee you that he can, which will be super fun. I know it's going to be really cool to see how this next year. I'm excited to hang out in Atlanta. I hope I get more than 2 days.
Yes, I'll be planning a little bit more carefully. It was a bit last minute last time to fly in and fly out. Yeah, we got a lot more time to prepare for April, which is great.
Let me shout out to your wife for a second. So we, in fact, some of us were at Corey and Yoyoy were both with us at this fabulous lunch. And we are sitting there, overlooking the arena, the marina, and we're enjoying this lunch. And then all of a sudden I look and his wife isn't there. And bless her heart, she's pregnant, had flown whatever 20 crazy hours or whatever, came straight to lunch, and then finally just went and she slept in the truck so that Andrew could have his time with us. And that moved me to tears, like her support of what you're doing. And so you're the perfect person to be teaching these men how to do it, because clearly you're making it happen and making it happen in such a beautiful and spectacular way. Now, before we close today, and I know Eduardo has not given me the ticker time yet. Usually he'll give us a countdown. I want to tell you that right now, I think we're maybe over two. I'm trying to add up the numbers, but over 2 million viewers are watching right now, Andrew. Yeah, which is great. Exciting. Yes. So thank you all for being here today.
Your OG coach on Facebook.
Is the OG coach. OG on Facebook.
That's right.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, yeah, just to clarify, ordinary guy, just an ordinary guy, live an extraordinary life. That's all.
With the James Bond.
Shaken, not stirred. Yes.
So, by the way, if you would please just share specifically where they can find it. When is your webinar? How can we support you?
So the webinar is on Saturday, 5 p.m. Central. I will be waking up early in Korea. It will be late in Europe, I believe. We tried to schedule it so that we could capture and serve as many people around the globe as possible. It could be a bit late for some, but you'll catch it. Your Brain Coach D, she's posting about it. I'm posting about it at Your OG Coach, or Andrew Michael Houghton is my full name on Facebook. So there's probably a few Andrews on Facebook. I don't think I'm the only one, but hopefully, you can find me as Andrew Michael Houghton or Your OG Coach on Instagram as well. I'm more active on Facebook at the moment. So Your OG Coach will find me, my group, my page, or just add me as a friend and let's chat.
Fantastic. So I'm going to ask you one question before we go and for today. So all the beautiful changes you've made, all of the things that you're doing, my question to you is, what do you have to believe? What do you have to believe to have an extraordinary life?
Wow. The first thing that comes to mind is that I'm worth it. Yeah. That I am worthy of having an extraordinary life. I think that's the first thing. Perfect
answer. That's a perfect answer, that you're absolutely worth it. And you are. And I'm so grateful.
Deserving, worthy. Yeah.
Yes. And I'm grateful. Thank you. I'm so grateful that you came on the show today. You're a blast. I love you and your family. And so thank you so much. And I want to thank all of you for joining us today.
Thank you everybody for tuning in.
Thank you everybody for tuning in. The show can also be heard on the Spanglish Radio Network. Please check it out, spanglishworld.ca, for all the news and programming. Spanglish World, watch it, hear it, read it, download it, live it. We love you. Thank you so much for being here.